going to go somewhere.
This is a great segue.
Yeah.
What is the can we talk about the Protestant Revolution? Because I don't know much about it, and I have no idea.
You don't know anything about the Protestant Reformation?
Almost not. I knew some guy nailed some things to a wall.
Well,
the Martin Luther.
Yeah, Martin
it
Luther
started
stuff.
with a guy named Martin Luther.
All right. So let's talk about that because I don't know anything
All right,
besides
sure.
Martin Luther and.
Well, if I
nailing
remember
crap.
correctly, it happened around the 1500s. That's the first thing. The most important thing to bring up right now for any sort of foundational information is that at this time point, most of Western Europe is under the Catholic Church. It is just Catholicism. You got the Pope, and they are the center of what's supposed to be the Catholic community within Europe. Of course, it doesn't mean there isn't any problems or grievances and pissed off people, because there's actually a shit ton.
What are the grievances, John?
Two of the biggest ones I can think of right now is just absolutely ridiculous corruption within the Catholic Church.
Taxes. Well, not taxes. What is
Tithes,
it?
I believe.
Tithes.
Tithes.
Type.
One of the
course
biggest
not
things
taxes.
is indulgences, which is one of the more recent things that happened during Martin Luther's time, which was the idea that you could spend money to either pay off sin or help your family get out of purgatory faster. That is basically the greatest scam ever developed. It's like, oh hey, you wanna get your grandma to heaven faster? Just give us some money.
We'll pray extra hard for you. We'll be like, yo, what's up, God? Get this bitch out of here.
And just like anything that you can probably imagine with that as its foundational thing I want to tell you about, just imagine that's happening probably with the Catholic Church. And it just led to a lot of people that knew that there needed to be change. There needed to be something. The popes so many of them were just so like top-heavy elites that were basically in their own world where they could do whatever the fuck they want. It was literally just a tiny little Italian thing, basically. It was the papal election. And it's just like the people were so disconnected from the papacy.
And physical disconnection as well, because like you said, Catholicism was everywhere in Europe, and not everyone was close to the heart of Catholicism.
Yeah. And then and also like so many different practices. One of the biggest things was you actually couldn't preach in your own native language. You weren't supposed to. Like that is against Catholic
and you can't translate the Bible either.
Yeah, it was supposed to be in Latin. You preach in Latin.
Oh,
do you remember when we went to that?
So you
church?
wouldn't even understand what the hell they were saying.
Yeah,
yes, Catholicism still does this actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we went to mass.
Yeah. Remember that mass that we went to? That mass still did it in Latin. Of course, the Catholic Church has changed so much since the Protestant Reformation because
They needed to.
They needed to.
They let me into that mass, and there's a reason I went to mass with John and our roommate at the time, Peter. Still friends with Peter, but there was a reason we went to this mass. Do you want me to do we tell this reason?
Oh my God, I forgot. I just remember it. Marcus, have we ever told you the story?
I don't think so.
We were joking.
I thought you were talking about your AP Euro.
Well, I was talking about that, but Marcus, Raj was talking about something completely different, and that mass was in English because, like we said, because like we said, the Catholic Church had to reform so much. I mean, Pope Francis has said all sorts of stuff that if you were to say that
dogs go to heaven.
Yeah, gay should be allowed. Like LGBT community people should be allowed in the Catholic
Good
Church.
dog. Yeah,
that type of stuff. Like if he said that at any point in the 1500s, he'd be burned as a heretic. like get fucking branded, get his eyes gouged out, draw a cord in his corpse to get burned. Like they do all that shit to him. But then we went to mass in Iowa because Raj needed good pictures and with him in nice clothes for his Tinder profile.
Nice.
That's why we went to mass.
You went to mass for hookups.
Yeah, we were at board game
Legend.
night and we were joking, saying,
That's a gamer move.
We were like, we've never been to mass before, and he's like, yeah, I need some good pictures. I mean, you want to go to? Tomorrow's Sunday, right? Hey, Peter, you want to go to mass? Because Peter is
he's a Catholic.
Yeah, he's a Catholic. He's a practicing Catholic.
Yep.
And so that's why he's like, yeah, I'll bring you guys to mass.
I knew a girl in college that went to synagogue to pick up Jewish boys.
That's hot.
We didn't go to pick any of them up. I would have gone. I went to mass. Went with Peter.
She was like very overt about it, and I was like,
good.
When she said that, I was very uncomfortable. I was like, I don't know what to do here. What do I do with that information?
We weren't that bad. We weren't that bad.
I was like, and that's exactly how she phrased it. She said, "Pick up Jewish boys," and I'm like, that is so uncomfortable.
Bro, I have this
to be
worst
around.
image of us trying to hit on Christian
girls,
girls while
yeah.
mass is happening. Like literally during the Eucharist, and we just see them put bread and drink the wine, and we're just like,
"Sup, girl? Hey,
what you do after?"
Although
you wanna?
I went to synagogue mostly to every time I've gone to synagogue in my life, it's been for the food.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
That's not the worst.
They always have food though. See, that's the thing.
Yeah,
It's always,
absolutely.
and it's always good. So
long story short, fuck ton of corruption in the Catholic Church at that time.
Yes.
And there was also like a big bias for
one question real quick.
go for it.
Was this girl attractive?
Oh.
yes,
And B, did she succeed?
That's actually a really important question.
I honestly don't know.
Why didn't you keep in touch with her? We need to know.
Oh
We need
my
to know
God.
if it's a
I need to
a
know.
strat.
Yeah, we need to know. Should I have been doing that? Like, I just got the pictures, man. Should I have been hitting on girls?
You should have been spiffing up and going to mass.
I mean, there is that stereotype with Catholic girls. So
What, that they're freaks?
yeah,
yeah, like they're like
that's like a really big
they're
stereotype.
like reserved freaks because they don't get to do anything.
Yeah, and oral's not sex. Oral and anal aren't sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck me in the ass because I love Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a mortal sin, but it's not. It's not sex.
It's not sex, so it's not.
It's only sodomy, so it's fine.
So yeah, I gotta know, man. I
Did you
haven't
know-
gotten any luck. I haven't got lucky at all.
Did you know that protected sex within the bounds of marriage is still technically sodomy?
Well, I
No
guess-
wonder those Mormons have a lot of children.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be the idea that like you're messing up the purity of the act
Yeah.
or whatever.
Sex for any reason other than
Copulate.
procreation,
Yeah.
copulation, whatever,
Yeah.
is sodomy. So
Look.
using a rubber, even within the bounds of marriage, is sodomy.
Look, I can tell you right now.
That's why they
Yeah.
reformed, dude.
Oh, dude, bro, they teach that. Like, there's a lot
Oh,
of
really?
there's a lot of
God
Christian communities that still do that.
That's insane.
I remember one person. I'm not going to say anybody's name. I remember in high school there was one person during health class that didn't want to touch a condom that was being passed around. That was like to
Now I'm
teach us-
curious. Who is this?
I can't
We're gonna bleep out the name.
I know multiple people that closed their eyes during health class.
I'll tell you after the recording's done. Just remind me.
Okay.
Yeah, I know people that close their eyes during health class too.
Yeah, yeah,
Doing all that.
yeah. Because it's supposed to. It's like impure.
I know people that like felt like they sinned when they had a wet dream.
Yeah, because
They didn't even masturbate.
You're lusting.
They just had a wet dream,
You lusting.
which you can't even. Yeah,
You nutting.
Look,
You
that's
lusting.
insane.
Look, I'm gonna put it to you this way.
Crazy, dude.
Those Mormon families are big for practical reasons. They want more people in the faith. But the kid is a byproduct. They kind of want to bang.
But no, even your
Shebang.
intentions need to be pure.
Yeah, well, their
It's thought
intentions.
crime.
Yeah, well, there's
You know?
there's a lot of people committing some thought crimes going
Yeah.
on because.
You gotta have pure intentions
Yeah.
when you're having sex.
Yeah,
too.
well, I can guarantee
Mhm.
some of those intentions ain't so pure sometimes.
For a lot of people, they feel the exact same way with the Catholic Church at the time in 1500s because they thought the top-down authority was just so disconnected from their cultural
Mhm.
practices. Like we're talking, like there's so many different things people did throughout all of Europe, but you couldn't openly do it, or you couldn't have your priest do it because, or if he did do it, he'd be ostracized and would never promote because it wasn't part of Catholic doctrine and stuff like that. So then this would just constantly build up all this annoyance and grievances. And of course, there's actually a lot of nobility that didn't like the Catholic Church either because tithes, and there's so much. They had so much authority. So by going against the Catholic Church, you're going against one of the most established political authorities and spiritual authorities in Europe.
Wait, so did the Catholic Church make nobles pay
Well,
for
they
various things?
they just
or-
did all sorts of shit, man. Like if a bishop doesn't back you or says something about you as a prince that could affect you politically if you're trying to deal with your lord or your king or something like that.
Oh,
Like they have
that's,
plenty of political power because they're ingrained in the society. So you always need a bishop. Like the every town's got a bishop.
It gives you the right to rule as well, because
Yeah.
the only reason you're allowed to rule is because God gives
Yep,
you. The
Yeah,
right.
God
because
given right.
that
Yep.
comes from the Holy Roman Emperor, the very first one,
Mhm.
Charlemagne. The reason why it's called the Holy Roman Empire is because the Pope was the one that actually crowned Charlemagne emperor. He was the first emperor crowned in Western Rome after Rome fell. So, and then it was the idea. It created all sorts of confusion and questions about where the temporal authority of the monarch comes from. Because if the Pope is crowning the emperor, the most powerful monarch in all of Europe, then does that mean God's giving him this power? Like this, because a Pope crowned the emperor, gave him that crown, bestowed it upon him willingly with his consent. So then it created so many questions to where that authority comes from: God, religion, the man himself, that type of stuff. And that would tie into that was a legacy for medieval culture and all the way down to monarchs now in Europe because of that act and stuff like that. And of course, it's always a good propaganda stint to tie you to God, of course, too.
God said I could do it. Guess I can bang this girl.
But yeah, in every town there's a cathedral, like a big church somewhere. Like that's the archdiocese. The way cities and areas are divided is there's little chapels, and then at the center pieces where the capital of that region, you have the I don't know the specific terms, but you have the cathedral and stuff. Like monk, bishops, archbishop, and then it keeps going up. So that's why the Catholic Church was everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And like if you're a lord, anything from a baron, which like you might rule like a small little hovel, to the goddamn king, you got a fucking priest next to you saying shit, and indirectly involved in court politics.
Ugh.
So that's why that type of shit, like they were still power brokers, and very strong ones too, because the religious authority that they have. So anyway, that's the context. The actual Protestant Reformation was the moment that Martin Luther and plenty of other people, there was a couple priests prior to that caused all sorts of religious revolts or religious awakenings. That's the most important thing to know about the Protestant Reformation, is that it wasn't just one guy. Like for a lot of places, it happened earlier,
and they had a lot of different hills that they died on, and
all sorts of different ideas.
And that's where we get like a million different types of Christianity.
Yeah, because the biggest thing to know about the Protestant Reformation is happened at all sorts of different times. In France, it happened a couple times during the goddamn Crusades. It's called the Catholic, because like a lot of religious movements still existed in Western Europe, but they couldn't be acknowledged. They were all immediate heretics that needed to be burned, but they still existed and tried to sustain themselves, survive. But there was actually a crusade that was targeted in France towards a Christian community. It was called the Albigensian Crusade. A literal crusade backed by the Pope was conducted in southern France.
Did it work?
Yes.
Rip.
And so, like, stuff like that happened. But, like, the most important thing about the Protestant Reformation is that it shattered the established Catholic order. Like, the Catholic order that was persisted since, like, the fall of Rome all the way up to the 1500s dissolved and had to become something very, very different after the Protestant Reformation. And in all sorts of ideas, it became like a religious awakening for Western Europe, because then people could think of different stuff, could imagine all sorts of stuff, like question all sorts of things. What's my relationship with God? Is it me and just him? Is it me and my local priest? It can't be the Pope, because fuck him. Like that type of stuff.
How did the printing press affect that?
It made it so that circulation of these type of ideas were so much easier, because you could just make a pamphlet in your own language too, easily, and just print that shit out, and then yeet that everywhere. Hey, you wanna? Hey, fuck the Pope. Yeah, fuck the Pope. Join us.
How did the Pope take this?
It led to something called the Counter-Reformation, actually, in which there was a large movement to either a lot of repression. A lot of people were trying to fight back against Protestantism within their own communities. Germany specifically, which the Holy Roman Empire, I should say, which composed of a lot more than just Germany. They had something called the emperor proclaimed something called Eius Religio, something like that. It's like his ruler, their religion. So from a legal frame point, it meant that whoever the prince is, if the prince says that this is a Protestant realm, then that is legal. If it says it's a Catholic realm, then that is legal, or something like that.
All it takes is one emperor to just go, all right, I don't care.
It was from a compromise or something like that, because there was just, Protestantism was blowing up.
You just couldn't take it all down.
Yeah, so the only way something like that happens is because they know that the Catholic Church simply can't stop this heresy this time. It has fully gone out of control, and people clearly were too pissed off and too willing to fully openly express their own local beliefs in Christianity to stop it.
Sounds like we need an exterminatus on those people real quick.
There was plenty of
they tried.
Plenty of violence, man. Like, it's crazy. There was so much religious violence at that time period.
Look, I'm just saying, a drop ship from orbit is pew pew, and there goes the planet, The Warhammer 40k solution to all of it, blow up the planet.
But yeah, the Protestant Reformation is really, really important.
From orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
It's really important in so many ways, because it allowed for open expressionism for the most part. Like, it was like the first real, at least in Europe, of people like being able to just express all sorts of weird ass shit that would be heresy normally. And then they became established religions.
Pretty sure Martin Luther's like hill that he died on was that you can pray to God yourself.
Yeah,
you don't need a priest.
What do you mean by hill he died on? Like he was executed for it?
He didn't actually die on it. The hill that he would have died on.
Yeah, like just like his big thing that he was focused on.
Sorry, not the hill he died on. The hill that he would have died on.
Yeah, like for him, if I remember correctly, Luther talked a lot about a personal relationship with God. That like nobody else should be a mediator for you.
Yeah,
and
that's where
what
you get like
do.
the idea of more of a shepherd rather than a priest.
Yeah,
I think.
where like you behave piously, you do this, and then like
I forgot what Lutheran priests are called. They're not priests. I don't think they're shepherds though.
I haven't
They're
looked up the details of Lutheranism or Calvinism in a very, very long time.
they're pastors. Yeah, they're pastors.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
right.
Lutherans have pastors, not priests.
Oh, that
and
makes
that's
so much
because
sense.
Lutheran pastors are guides
Yeah.
in the religion, but
Yeah.
they're not an authority that talks to God for you. They're not a mediator. They just help you talk to God better.
Yeah, a
on
spiritual
your own.
guide.
What is Calvinism?
Calvinism.
I don't know.
Okay, yep.
I am very. I did not grow up in a Christian household. My dad decided that he did not care enough about religion, and he once gave me his Bible, but like I read it for like 14 pages and then put it down because it was boring. so that shows you how much I know about Christianity.
So like what Marcus was saying, there's Protestantism is an extremely vague term. It's like saying Christian. Protestantism is just offshoots of Christianity that broke away from the Catholic Church.
They were just people who had grievances. That could be almost everyone.
A Mormon could be considered a Protestant.
Nice. Okay.
At least I think
They
so.
are. Yeah.
And then like you was just saying, Martin Luther, people who decide to follow the teachings and writings of Martin Luther became termed Lutherans. Lutheranism is the faith behind Martin Luther's ideas. Calvinism is centered around the ideas of John Calvin. The only two things I know about John Calvin is that he fled to Switzerland and set up something in Zurich, I think. Oh no, that was Zwingli, but he was also a Calvin, I think. But anyway, then also like the thing that Marcus likes to bring up, the predestination concept.
Yes, that's like before you're born. Actually, the entire universe is predetermined by God, and we're just like part of His literal plan. And there's nothing you can do about it. So even before you're born, your like soul exists, and it's already destined to either go to heaven or hell, no matter what you do. So that's what I like to bring up, because that's an absolutely wild concept to me.
So might as well sin.
Might as well. It's already gonna happen. Nothing you do matters.
So what is this plan of his that he's doing? What's the big plan going on? If he's got a big plan and everything's preordained, what's this plan and why is it so good?
He's prepping the God Emperor of mankind.
Yeah, obviously.
The God Emperor of mankind don't need no stupid
I don't
God
know much
to do
about
anything.
I don't know much about Calvinism.
Yeah, this
but
is the
if I was to hazard a guess, I'm sure that the plan is that God works in mysterious ways and we don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the whole idea is that we're not supposed to know. Like, if you're a devout Calvinist, the whole idea is that it's out of your hand and that it's God's plan. Like, he is beyond us. He's unfathomable to us. He's all-knowing, all-powerful. We're not supposed to know.
If this is the best an all-powerful God can do and this is his great plan, I, for one, am not very impressed.
It's just a play for him, maybe. I don't know.
No,
Maybe he just like wanted to see what happened.
This is
Giant
what,
menagerie.
But he knows what's going to happen. He designed it to happen that way.
It's a giant playground.
this is what my dad and I think of what happened. So God was in college with all the other gods and divine beings, and he got really drunk a lot of times, and he was partying, and then he realized his semester project was coming due.
He went a 7-day bender.
And he was like, oh my God, my project is due. I've only got a week to do it. I got to do it. So we've all been there. We've all been doing a project and we lost track of time and didn't do it and went, oh shit, I got to actually do it. So this is what God did. He decided to make his universe in like 7 days, which he did. And it was pretty crappy. And he went to the professor and was like, look, I know this is awful. I know everything about this is stupid. Just let me pass. My parents are going to kill me if I don't. Just please.
He took 7 days. I want to see the Raj equivalent of God. The 5-hour project.
So 5-hour Earth.
It's like, they forgot the noses. Like,
so God
just absolute homunculi.
Unpainted parts are all around.
Everyone has a unibrow because he just was like, shoop.
That's a little too much detail, man.
So God got a D-, and then after he got his D-, left the project and went, all right, I can go party again. It's summer vacation. Screw this. And we've been going ever since. And if I had created this universe in the amount of time I usually give to my non-graduate school study stuff, there wouldn't be people because I wouldn't have made them. because I would have needed to go too quickly. I'd have just had to finish the planets, man.
It'd just be monkey.
I would have to. I don't even be monkeys. I'd have finished the planets and been like, all right, I got it. That's it. That's all I got.
Marcus, we were talking about 40K too long, man. When you said monkey, I'm literally imagining Marcus as an Eldar, looking at Earth, going monkey.
Marcus is my professor judging my 5-hour project. Look, dude, it's been a rough 2 weeks. Okay, just cut me some slack.
Oh God.
We don't talk about some of the projects I have done in graduate school that have been the last day.
Did it help with explaining the Protestant Reformation at least?
Kind of. Catholic, corrupt, doing bad stuff.
It led to a final explosion of grievances, basically, where then just the Catholic Church lost a lot of its authority.
Yeah.
And the kind of the reality of what people were actually doing in faith and belief could actually be seen. And then that led to even more expressionism of what faith and prayer should be for a very long period of time, where you have stuff like the Anabaptists, like doomsday cults forming up and stuff like that, all sorts of different faiths. The most important thing to think about is that Protestantism is very hard to grade Protestantism as like a religious doctrine. It's just constant deviation, because the whole idea is that it becomes your own personal expressionism. It really allowed Christianity to become what it is in a lot of places, like, because you take that deviation that happens in England and stuff, and you get all sorts of different groups like the Puritans, what are they called, Presbyterians, the Armenians.
What is the ones that go door to door?
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yep. So you take them, and a lot of those people were the ones that would then go to America, and then our religious foundation is not in Catholicism initially. Of course, then eventually Irish and other people come, like Polish, that are Catholic, and then it creates this really weird religious hotbed that is only unique because of stuff like the Protestant Reformation. Like that, Puritans don't exist in the way they are.
Peter's gonna make an Irish joke. Do it, pansy.
Send it.
Do it. Do it. I saw it. I saw it.
They always send Guinness.
Nobody liked the Irish, man. I didn't have a joke. I was just gonna say that nobody liked the Catholics, so the Irish just got shit on.
Actually, that was a thing. That's like when you look at old American politics, one of the biggest paranoias was not just the Irish; it was the Catholic Irish that they were freaking out about.
The goddamn Irish Catholics.
Yeah, because it's like they're a papist. But when they say papist,
all their potatoes.
Yeah, that's a
and
negative
beer.
term when you hear papist.
What does papist mean?
It's a guy that bows to the fucking Pope.
A
papist. It's like how can we trust this guy? This guy can't even have his own faith in God. He has to listen to some dumbass not in Italy. Like that's like the mindset behind it.
Man, it must have been so weird for the colonists to think about Italy, like actually just a different world at that point.
I don't think they were even thinking about it. They were just trying to survive.
Yeah.
They had some bigger concerns to deal with.
There is intelligentsia
just thinking
and
about
upper
like
class,
Europe
yeah.
after you've moved to America.
Yeah,
it's like literally a different
That's
world.
how it makes the isolationist mindset.
So wild.
That's why learning about early modern American history is really weird, because you realize they really were kind of in their own world.
They did not have the internet to just go, oh, look what's happening in France at the moment.
Like if a president is trying to propose to get involved in World War I right when it happens, to them, they legitimately can't see why the fuck they would get involved in that war. Like, why? Why would I want to send my son and hundreds of thousands of other sons to go to some random ass trench in France and start shooting at Germans? Why the fuck does that matter to me? Mexico's having a civil war. I'm more scared about that than
never even seen France. Like,
yeah,
and probably never will.
They probably don't even know anything about France, really.
I want to fight with a bunch of baguette boys fighting against Germans. If anything,
do they even know it's baguette boys?
They'd be more inclined to fight with the Germans actually at that time period. Like with them probably, because there's honestly, a huge German minority
at that time period. The European countries were probably just memes to them, because like I hear my grandpa talking about the Germans, and there's just like a bunch of stereotypes about Germans. Like I'm sure it was similar back then.
Imagine that like, just regressed
but
further.
Those are American Germans, you know?
Yeah.
Like those like all of the stereotypes. It's like, oh, you're descended from Germans. But it's like, what does that really mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because at this point you're like 4 generations, so you're an American German.
Because, like,
and then you have like all these ideas about German culture, but you're probably completely wrong.
There's actually an amazing part of The Sopranos. The Sopranos is a TV show about the like the Italian mafia in America in like our modern time, the 2000s. and they go to Italy to visit because they always romanticize Italy. They always like, oh, the Italian culture. They always talk about defending the American Italian in America and stuff like that. They go there, they don't understand what the fuck they're saying. Then when they finally go to a restaurant, Polly, one of my favorite characters on the show, goes, "I'll have a pizza." He's like that. Like it's such a good show. Because
what happens? Does he get a pizza or?
The Sicilians don't respect any of them because they see them as American tourists, like a bunch of weirdos basically LARPing as Italians.
Wow.
Because,
and that's exactly what I was like thinking about.
Yeah, because
I just realized that like all the stereotypes that we have about Germans and whatever.
There's a meme.
I'm just saying Germans because that's my grandpa has. My grandma was German, and so he would always make a ton of German jokes. Like, yeah.
And they're probably like just terrible. Like they just don't mean anything about German.
Yeah.
Do you know who the most racist people against Indians are? Like India from the continent. Like at least this is the idea I've hold from personal experience. I could be completely wrong on this, but from my personal experience, the people who are most racist and most derogatory towards Indian people, can you guess who they are?
Are you saying like who are most racist to native Indians?
No, not here. India, like me.
Yeah. Indians.
Yeah, Indians. Who are the people that
I know because you've told me, but
John,
go ahead.
who are the people that degrade Indians the worst in my experience? Who would you guess?
Other Indians?
Yes, other Indians. They just completely insult each other all the time. It's whenever you see an Indian driver, it's like another Indian. God, it's an Indian driver. Of course it is. Oh my God, look at them. They're just eating curry and they're getting fat. Whenever my mom goes to India, whenever we go there, it's just like there's this big push to be like, okay, we have to look perfect. We have to do this. Can't look this. Why? Because they're going to start talking and they're going to start making fun of you for anything.
Yeah, I think there's something like that with some of my Chinese relatives that I know too, where they kind of grade the Americanism of other Chinese people around them.
Oh.
Like whether like, oh wow, look at this guy, he's like such a fucking fop. He's not even trying or something like that, you know.
So yes, we do. We really just slam our own cultures.
Like, oh my God, yeah.
If I had a nickel for every time I heard my mother say something bad about Indians, or just like not like bad, but like, God, Indians, Jesus, they can't construct anything. They're the worst. just like phrases like that. It's just like, okay, I'd have made a significant amount of money just off of that because I've heard a lot.
God bless.
My mom is actually from India. She lived in India. She's
a first generation.
She is a first generation immigrant. So she lived there. She can speak multiple Indian languages. So this is not like some American saying this. This is a full Indian.
All of my relatives were from Vietnam, and they still shit on Vietnam, stuff like that. Like I asked my dad one time if he would ever want to go back to Vietnam, and he said, "Fuck no."
Yes.
Fuck no.
My girlfriend's grandpa fought in the Laotian Revolution against communism.
Oh, okay. He was on that side.
Lost.
Oh, I see.
Can you imagine needing to like flee your country?
I know, yeah.
Because you lost a revolution? That's crazy to me. That would be wild.
Actually, do you want to hear something super random that is about revolutionaries?
Mm.
A lot of
please.
Germans fled to America because of the Revolution of 1848 when they tried to do this big Republican revolution in Germany. Guess where they ended up fighting in after they fled to America? A lot of them fought in the American Civil War.
Really?
A lot of them fought. A lot of them fought in the American Civil War, and because that a lot of them, are dedicated Republicans, dedicated liberals.
Mm-hmm.
They fought for the Union. Like a lot of them did.
Rip.
Jeez.
Ran to escape war, caught up in another war.
There was a Polish cavalry officer named Kazimierz or something like that. He, after Poland ceased to exist as a country when he fought for it, when it was partitioned by all of its neighbors, he fled to America and became General George Washington's cavalry officer.
It'd be so deeply sad to lose a revolution.
That's something else, honestly.
Or lose against revolution.
Yeah.
Well,
either way.
If you really believe in it, if you really believe in your cause, if you're just there for, I want to be in power,
either way,
shits and giggles.
You're going to, if you need to flee your country because,
Yeah.
Like if you lose any other, and you lost your home against like other people from your home. Like it's different if you get invaded
Civil War's
slightly,
fucked,
I don't know. Maybe it's not that different. I've never been invaded, but like it just
not that you know of.
Oh my God! Are you talking? Are you trying to make a white genocide joke right now?
I was making a lizard joke, or the fact that I invade.
Oh my
Marcus's
God! We're all going to
home.
be somewhat tan, grayish colored.
Oh my God!
in
white
like
genocide.
200 years. Oh God!
I was making a joke about me invading Marcus's home on a weekly, bi-weekly basis and like lizard people. What the hell are you guys on?
This is how we know the
Oh,
difference
I'm
between
fine with the lizard people. We're chill.
Yeah. Why are you guys taking it into like white
oftentimes
by
genocide?
you guys.
Many times I've caught
But your people are different.
many
What?
times I've caught Hillary Clinton climbing out of my toilet. Like I'm fine with that. I'm
Why
like,
did we
hey,
get? How did we get to white genocide? I'm just curious.
Well, you said invaded, and you said how maybe you don't know yet, and that's like a huge thing for right wing people.
That is.
yeah.
That was like a dog whistle. Is that it?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that the term?
Yeah, like where
you
like,
just dog whistle
the
to all the
invisible
white
invasion-
supremacists
yeah,
watching us.
the invisible invasion of minorities that are coming in to eliminate the white people
I guess I'm not a white supremacist, but how do you two know about this? Or do you guys want to tell me
you already
something?
know why I know about this.
You know my mom, okay?
Like when you delve into history, sometimes the first topics you hit are the fucking crazy ones because they're so fascinating. And I
So
just
John's a
read-
racist. I didn't know if
Just
you all
read
know
about
that.
it.
He is absolutely racist.
Hi, mom.
Hi, Roger's mom.
That's not my mom. That's not
That's my mom. My mom watches.
Unless we have the same mom, which would which would be very confusing.
I would be confused. I'd be wondering who your dad was because you're definitely somewhat brown.
I'm definitely so. If my dad and your mom had a kid and it came out like me, completely brown,
That would be a head scratcher.
that would be a very
Yeah, if we had the same mom, your dad is definitely not your
no.
dad.
It did actually happen. Two white people had a kid and it came out black, and so I was like, okay, what happened? And it turns out the dad, his mom actually cheated on the dad with a black guy, and by some random chance of genetics, the child turned out white. But then when he had a kid with another white woman, the kid turned out brown.
Isn't the theory that Homo sapiens originated in Africa, right?
That's one, at
Isn't that
least.
the
I
theory?
haven't read this shit in so long.
I
no
have
idea.
not delved into any of it, so I have no idea.
I wonder if it would be technically possible.
For everybody to have a black
All
kid.
of the geneticists that watch us, let me know.
I'm sorry. For all the geneticists
For all
listening
the
to this.
geneticists, I very much apologize.
We're just probably butchering your entire field, but
Absolutely.
Well, let's be honest. We probably butchered a lot of fields.
for sure. That's why we try and stick close to math, history, and engineering.
we
Video
still
games.
butcher
and
math.
video games.
Yeah.
We still butcher math.
I butcher history all the time. I don't correct myself when I fuck up. And I think back when I'm done, and I think to myself, wait, I fucked up.
I found the name of that helmet, and I already forgot it. But it's in
Southern-
our tag.
Yeah. It's in
Sutton who?
Sun Who or something like that. It's in East Anglia.
I was actually wrong.
Son who?
Remember that in the Jedi podcast when I was talking about the kid who was defending Senator Organa?
You're wrong.
Yeah, I was wrong about it. It definitely wasn't that. His name was Zeke, and apparently he was George Lucas's kid because he wanted or something happened. So George Lucas cast his kid in that scene. So that was his kid.
I mean, that's actually interesting, though.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was George Lucas's kid.
I had no idea where the Jocasta new shit came from.
Apparently, the reason that the kid in the when Anakin's gonna kill all the children, the kid stumbles back a little. Apparently, Hayden Christensen went boo really loud, and it wasn't scripted for him to stumble back, but Hayden Christensen scared him, and so that's why he stumbled
Beautiful.
Oh, that's great.
Beautiful improvisation.
back. Yeah.
I think Hayden Christensen got shafted.
He's
He got
and
shafted.
if you watch some of his other movies, he's not a horrible actor.
So he was a good
bases-
actor. Just a
Fan bases
horrible
will
script.
flame people. Fan bases will get
Mhm.
pissed off, and they need something to blame.
Well,
Blame George Lucas.
the child actor for Anakin never acted again, from what I know.
Would you wanna?
Yeah, because he just got demolished online.
He's a kid.
Yeah, fan
Think of an
bases-
adult. Think of one of us getting demolished online and having to deal with that and having to see that everywhere. Now think of an 8-year-old kid who doesn't know fame.
And goes to school.
It's fucking terrible. It's actually
Yeah.
He needed
horrible.
to go to school after
Imagine-
being young Anakin.
Imagine being part of
Oh.
Spy Kids or something, and then all of a sudden having to go to school.
Yo.
Imagine. Well, actually, I know. Imagine
Lava
Shark
Girl.
Boy. Shark Boy is Taylor Lautner from Twilight. I forgot.
Ugh.
Yeah. Imagine being Shark Boy and then going to school.
It's just wow. Think of Rebecca Black, the Friday song that explodes
Oh,
right
fuck.
when,
Yikes.
right when the internet was hitting that meme
Oh,
thing.
and she got roasted
She
so much.
absolutely got demolished, and it's just awful. She's 14 or 15. Her parents probably paid for a fun little music video just to have.
Mhm.
just gets absolutely. She's not prepared to deal with that. She's not an
Nobody
adult.
is.
There were so many like really bad comments too.
Oh yeah,
Like
It was just a
yikes.
poppy song for her to have fun with
Yeah.
some friends. Like,
yeah. Mob mentality is insane, man. It's nuts.
social psychology is really scary.
And yeah, people got like actually angry at her.
Oh, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, like personally angry at her. This actually goes into what we talked about in the
Come on, do
last.
it, John.
The last episode that I didn't publish. Dang it, with May. No. What was it? Was it you and May? You and May.
Matt, and me were in the last one I was in.
Yeah, and we were talking. Yeah, we were talking about like cult of personality on the
we
internet.
were. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we
kinda
kind of
goes
roll
into
back
that.
to that once in a while, to the cult of personality mindset, because like the whole idea that you get really invested into certain people to the point where you can get like go to war basically in those Twitter wars and like really actually get emotionally into all the arguments and screaming and like death threats and all sorts of stuff like that.
I mean, just think of like League. Like when I'm like flaming someone on League, which doesn't happen as often. I very much cut back from my teenage years. It happens once every so often, so maybe once every 4 or 5 games. But I will be invested.
Once a day playing League.
I can say for sure that Raj has improved since freshman year of college, because I remember he used to type into the chat, "No talking, play."
Oh, I still type that sometimes. I would
okay.
just like stop talking.
Well,
play.
granted, I may have a bias because I have turned off chat for League ever since I have played for the past 2
Which
years.
is a good idea.
Because I realized, wait a minute, the biggest thing that is actually causing me to not want to play League is the fucking chat. I disable chat, disable pings from anybody
He
except
still
my
doesn't want to
friends.
play League.
And it still stresses me out, but it's way better than seeing that fucking chat.
So I can say that, yeah, I do get invested sometimes. It's like, dude, you're an idiot. And it's like, are they? Were they really off that play? Were they really stupid? No, they just had a different idea on what to do, and I did something, and they did something different. We were just disconnected. Are they stupid? Not really, but here I am invested, and he's invested calling me dumb, and we're calling each other stupid, and it's just like, and more harsh words. This is like
you can
Gamer words.
You can
as
start
May would
hating
say.
somebody. You can start hating somebody in a match. Like get really
Yeah.
fucking pissed off at them.
Mhm.
when I have a bad ADC, you'll hear me. John will hear me complaining. Or anyone who plays League with me, if I have I usually play support, and if they're not doing things, they're not playing aggressive or stuff, I'm just sitting there going, I hate this person so much. It's just there's so many words of me just saying I hate this lane. I hate doing
Or
this.
you'll like aggressively, if it's like somebody that's part of our queue, like a friend we're queuing with, you'll just give them like really aggressive tutor lessons. Like, you need to take your CS. You need to go in when I'm going in. You need to do that.
Most of the time,
Like,
it's Danu.
He won't say like, "God damn it, this guy fucking sucks," but he'll say like, "You need to go in when I'm going in, okay?" Like he'll say like
yeah,
that.
I am. I play an
Yeah.
engaged support. If you're not following up, I just die, and then they get ahead, and then you get killed. Most of the time, it's because does not follow up because plays very passively, or he does actually follow up. But,
we
Bleep, bleep, bleep,
bleep.
bleep.
sometimes
God damn it!
supposed to bring
Could
up
you have
names,
said his
man.
name anymore?
You're not supposed to bring up names.
I'm just gonna message him on Discord and be like, "Do you mind if your name is in the podcast?" 'Cause-
no, don't just bleep it out, please.
We love you, Blank.
God damn it!
I do get salty at him sometimes, but like he gets salty at me because I do dumb things. So
it's League, man. It brings the worst out of all of us.
he
If I have a
justifiably
bad
gets
day,
mad at
I'll
me.
flame people on a video game if I have a bad day.
Oh, for sure.
too. But honestly, I kind of miss the good old days of the Xbox Live chats.
Oh,
where like you have a bad day
no.
at school, you come home and you could literally say anything, any word you
heard
wanted.
So many interesting things on Xbox Live.
You could say the worst thing you could possibly think of. You could go on Xbox Live, join a COD match or a Halo match, and you could just light someone up with all of the worst ideas you've had all day, and it was so cathartic.
heard me
There's
do-
something beautiful about that, honestly.
You heard me do that once at Austin's house,
Mhm.
where I was just pissed. I forget what I was pissed off about, but I was absolutely livid and was just like almost screaming at this. Basically, a 12-year-old for like 14 minutes. I was like 13 at the time, or 14, so like I was in 8th grade. So
It's
I was, like,
cathartic
13.
in like a weird way that you just there's no other venue that you can do that.
It was
Yeah,
so
because it's a
bad.
liberating high.
Mhm.
You get to express things that you never get to express publicly because you'd be seen as a freak.
Yeah,
and it's bad, and it's not
it is
good.
just bad. Yeah, it's not
just
good.
bad.
It's not nice. It's not okay.
But then again,
there was
you're a
also
kid.
like a level of everybody knew that everyone expected it, so it was fine.
And
Yeah.
you weren't, and they knew
Almost.
you were just having a thing. It wasn't like, oh, this
Yeah.
guy's serious. Like, no,
That's
he's
true,
just a
too.
kid.
That's
No,
true,
he's
too.
just flipping out.
That's
Yeah, he's
why-
just a kid. He's
And they
just-
flipped out too. You would maybe start it, or maybe they would start it, and then you'd just get into a yellow match with this random person. You'd close the chat, and you'd never talk to
That's
them
Yeah,
again.
that's
actually-
it.
That's actually the problem, right? Of people looking into a gaming community sometimes and
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about the toxicity.
Oh, it's the worst. Yeah.
Because it kind of becomes when it comes to gaming toxicity, I think it becomes its own kind of language, essentially, where
Yes.
people are just
it
venting.
becomes its own culture.
yeah, it's a
It-
vernacular,
And you don't
essentially.
understand the culture. And then you have, like you were saying, people coming in that don't understand it,
Yeah,
and then they start judging it and like saying, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't."
it's like if we were looking at West Coast girls talking at a coffee shop and being like, "You can't say hella. That's stupid."
Yeah.
Yeah, or legitimately like going to another like country and just saying you can't do that. How, like, for example, some of the people in my mom's side of the family, so my mom is Indian, they do, like, you know how gay people say, oh, I can't take my boyfriend home, my parents will ostracize me and stuff, or like I can't say I have a boyfriend.
hmm
That's very similar to what I would do, what I would be, except that's just for a normal relationship. So I would never say to some of my Indian relatives, I have a girlfriend. They would see that as like the absolute worst. They don't want me to do it. So you don't have girlfriends. Now, if you are engaged to be married, then they want to hear about it. But if you have a girlfriend, they would, if I said that, they would be judging my mom and saying, what are you doing?
Is that like because arranged marriage stuff is still like kind of prevalent over there?
Some of it is, but some of it's just like the culture. Like, you don't talk about that. We don't want to hear it. Now, if you're engaged to be married, we're talking about marriage. That's cool. But if you're talking about like girlfriends and dating, no. We don't want to. No. That's
Yeah.
awful. We're judging your mom. We're judging how she raised you now. We're going to have words with her.
Yeah, because
and-
I don't think it's that it's improper to date. It's that why the fuck is Raj think it's okay to tell us that he's dating? Like, it's not something you're supposed to bring up. Probably.
Yeah, gotcha.
I don't even think it may not even be. For a couple of them, it may not be even okay.
Well, it's the
that I
idea.
do.
It's the idea that it's American dating. Maybe that too. Where like
That too. That's another
yeah.
thing. It's Americans dating. Oh my god, he's probably doing all sorts of stuff.
American dating, like the style where it's both the individuals that are in the relationship,
Mhm.
not the potential other type of stuff that could happen with Indian dating. I like just like it's a judgmental thing that comes out.
There's a lot. So there's a very big different culture. There's very big disconnects. And now to wrap it back to gaming, now you have a bunch of people like they publish Discord messages. There was one where it's like you're talking to your team, and then someone published the Discord messages, and they say some awful stuff, and
You
it's
don't
like
do that.
That's fucked up.
I've said some really interesting stuff to John as jokes, and he said some very interesting stuff to me. And if that was ever published, people would just be like, "Wow!"
If
this
anybody posted my Discord messages from the time I was playing TNO, which is an Axis Victory mod, they would think I'm a full-on fascist.
they would think both of us
like
are.
a full-on fucking fascist.
They would legit. They would hear.
If they post some of the base shit I send to your brother, they think I'm some kind of ultra racist colonial imperialist that wants the white man to come back to my country.
Anime hero, Chungus. What's his name?
Oh,
Hydrick.
Big Hero,
Hero.
Chungus 100, Keanu Reeves, anime hero, Reinhard Hydrick.
Reinhard Heydrich was the successor or like protege of Himmler.
So-
Himmler
We're
was
not-
the one who
wait, wait,
brought up.
Hold up, that's TNO lore. Reinhard Heydrich was straight up one of the people that orchestrated the structure of the fucking Holocaust.
Yes,
He's a fucking terrible human being.
Like actual history.
like
Yeah,
actual
this is
history.
actual
He did it.
Yeah, this is
Holy
actual
shit.
history. He was called the Butcher of Prague.
Jesus
And,
Christ.
he-
and you call him Big Daddy.
Yeah, Big Jaggy Chungus, anime
Daddy,
hero,
anime hero,
Keanu
Hydrick.
Reeves,
Yo.
Reinhard Heydrich.
Based.
Yeah. Like,
Look, if you go him and you do let him
Yeah.
win the German Civil
now
War,
he's talking about the mod.
if you let him win the German Civil War, which no one has any idea about, he eventually realizes that Himmler, the guy who was literally the dude who did the Holocaust, who orchestrated it, if you do...
He's talking about the mod now,
Yes.
not
Yes.
actual history.
Not actual history. Shut up. Shut up.
Well, because you brought up Himmler. I gotta make sure.
And Himmler didn't actually orchestrate.
Well, he was part of it, but he didn't orchestrate the entire thing. He was
Not
just head
like
of the
Reinhardt.
SS.
Yeah, he was a big portion.
Of course, he's a huge portion of it, of course. But
Mhm.
in TNO, he reaches a whole completely ascended
Yeah.
level of fucked up.
In the real
Gotcha.
world, he was just head of the SS.
Well, he was still based.
Gotcha.
He,
Yeah, okay.
he was still a gamer.
He was simply the head of the
God damn it.
SS.
This is actually so like this whole culture and gaming culture thing is actually why in an earlier episode I said that like mobile gamers aren't necessarily gamers That's what I meant.
I
actually.
agree with you on that standpoint.
And it's because, like, the way that the word gamer is used has a meaning, and it doesn't necessarily mean one who plays video games. It has, like, a whole nother, like, layer of metadata, you know?
Oh, I totally
surrounding the
understand
word
that. Because,
gamer.
like,
And, like, you could play any game. You could play a ton of games and still not really be a gamer. Like, if all you do is, like, play games once a week with your family or whatever, you're not, like, a gamer because you don't know the gamer stuff.
yeah, because you're talking about, like, full-on gamer culture then.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you're into gaming. You know, like, a lot of the stupid-ass memes.
And you have, like,
the,
a passion
the
for...
language.
Yeah.
The toxicity.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Not that you're part of it, but you understand you're comfortable
You're
with
probably
it.
part of it.
Yeah. You're
At least mentally part of it.
You at least know how to, like, deal with it and get
Yeah.
over it.
Yeah.
You don't, like, it doesn't bother you.
Yeah. God willing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how females do in some of those, because there's some interesting responses when, like, well, I remember one time vividly when a female joined our Mech Warrior game, and this dude just kept talking. He was just like,
Oh, yeah, this... Well, and that's...
it was so bad. It was, like, to the point where it's like, dude, just shut up. Like, she's a girl that's playing the game. Just please be quiet.
I've met some women that literally will just, like, fire back, and it'll just be like a thing, you know?
Mhm.
It'll just be like any old gaming
Like-
experience. But the thing about they're gonna pick on you for anything that they can.
Yes, they will.
And
Yep.
if you're a girl, that's just the easiest thing for them to pick on.
Yep.
Yeah, because
It's honestly-
you're different.
In a lot of cases, it's not even about you being a girl.
Yeah, it's just
It's like
having
when I
to
was a
get used to,
kid,
though.
they would make fun of my high voice because I was a kid. And it was literally just the most distinctive thing about me that they could make fun of.
Yeah.
And it wasn't they weren't making fun of me because I was a child. They were just making fun of me, and that happened to be the thing that was easiest to pick on.
It's really weird and interesting, and like there's some actual thought that needs to go into it. And guess what hasn't happened? No one has, not a lot of people, or at least mainstream people, have really
Well, it's
thought
just
about
gamers
these
are
issues.
just that weird group of people that
And
you
like
know.
people who talk about it and get anti on it are very,
Mhm.
they're not thinking about it. They're just going, oh, we need to fix this. We need to do this. This is that from their perspective, it's an awful thing. And if you were doing some of that stuff in the real world, like, yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's pretty bad. But this isn't now. This is
Well,
a different.
And then you also get the people that don't separate gaming life from real life.
oh
And
yeah.
Yeah.
actually
That's-
act like that in the real world.
That's
That's
when
scary.
Yo,
That's
dude.
when it gets a little messy. So, granted, we do understand that there are some real gamers out there, if you want to use that term, like some based fucked people. But then, like, for the
Well,
most,
like that's every group though.
yeah,
as
absolutely.
well.
That's what I was
And
about to say.
It's because
yeah,
there's a
absolutely.
stigma against gamers that those people get like hyped up
Mhm.
as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
people don't like gamers.
It's still
You know.
seen as well. It's still. I think it's regressed a little bit, but it's still seen as
Yeah.
this thing that's weird that your kids do. That's weird because
Mhm.
they're not outside. They're not
It's
playing
definitely
football.
a million times more socially acceptable
Oh.
to be
Oh,
a gamer
absolutely.
now than it was.
Especially like professional scene and stuff. You have some like
Mhm.
people who you would think are stereotypically jocks and
Mhm.
stuff, like very ripped, very attractive, very all this. What are they doing? They play video games for a living.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
wow.
that's the.
So it's definitely compared to when we were children, it's like a different world.
I definitely
But
do feel like
League
it
of
has
Legends?
changed quite a bit since, at least when I was a kid. I felt so weird bringing up gaming when I was in class, like for show and tell and stuff. I felt like a fucking loser or something like that. Like
You
I was
were at the
being,
time.
I was being ostracized for gaming or talking about it.
Yeah, you probably were at the time. That's the worst part.
Yeah, that too.
Like, you probably were.
Emotionally, at least.
And now it's like even random people are just like, oh yeah, I play video games now. I play like
One of the
Like,
weirdest
oh.
things that, of course, was probably much more common than I thought it was, but it was when I was in Target and I was passing by these two girls with their mom, and they were talking about how they were super excited to go back to play like the game. And I'm like, I've like, of course, I never hanged out with a lot of kids, but like I'd never heard that before.
or girls.
Yeah. So, but then like, I was just sitting there like, what? Wait,
yeah.
they game? Shit, man, you got
Based.
red pilled.
Rogers a real
John-
gamer.
Well, we're
You
still
guys
friends,
shit on me
right?
like that, man. No,
We're-
yeah,
we're
of
still
course,
friends, right?
Of course, God, you gotta.
Nice.
Damn. It didn't even
Got him.
It didn't even click, honestly, when he said that, because he
You
shits
just
on me
said,
all the
yeah.
fucking time.
You just say, yeah, that's true. Honestly, too, you do that. You both do. Almost all my friends now, just like when I say something like that, they just ignore it and they move on.
Well, yeah, because we know you're about to just say something that's just trying to shit
fuck
on us.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, Roger's shitty got it.
I'm not a bad person.
Fuck you.
Marcus, am I a bad person?
You're a horrible person, of course.
Yeah. You're a terrible person that should just jump off the top of this roof right now.
That
Right
wouldn't
now.
kill me.
No,
Do it again.
That's the ideal.
Yeah. Get
We
up.
don't want you to die. We just want you to be in
I
immense
see.
pain.
Yeah. And then do it again.
All I can think of nowadays when I think of someone jumping off a roof was that freaking
Oh
Snapchat
my
video.
God.
So, fun fact, I was actually in a fraternity in college for my last year because I was really bored in my last year. And there were some interesting things I got to see. It's very different joining a fraternity when you're 22 than when you're 18 because a lot of the members can't pressure you into doing stuff. And it's like, if I don't
You're
like
older
it,
than them.
I'm older than you. I don't care. And then a lot of the older guys actually liked me because I would like help them on their math homework and stuff. So like they actually did like me, and it was no, I'm a pledge, but whatever. But I'm higher than you on the pecking order. You can fuck off.
Mhm.
So, but you get some interesting Snapchat stories and stuff going on, and it's just like, what did this guy do? Well, he jumped off the roof onto a table that was on fire. Why was this plastic table on fire? I don't know.
Almost certainly a gasoline fire.
Probably gas on it. And before he jumped, there was the phrase, "This is probably a bad idea, guys," as 10 people are cheering on as this almost certainly drunk dude jumps off the roof onto said table.
Actually, the way it was burning, it was probably oil because it wasn't burning super quick. So I bet it was an oil fire. not a
So that's
gas
even
fire.
worse.
'Cause gas is like,
Yeah, it was not
and
burning
it's
like
gone.
that.
Fucking hell, if it's oil, can't that stick on him?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it can.
There's no reason why they dropped that in medieval battles.
Yes.
yeah. And there was a pool there, so I bet some of them were thinking, "Oh, it'll be
Oh,
fine. If your
no.
light's on fire, you can jump in the pool."
Don't do that. Not an oil fire. No.
No, sir.
But I bet that's what they were thinking.
I bet that's what they were
Fucking
thinking.
hell. It's like they forgot how oil spills turned out.
Yes, the one that recently happened in Mexico.
I forgot
yeah.
about that.
Yeah. So, fun fact, fraternities and sororities have some wild shit in them, and you get to see some interesting stuff. So, jumping off a roof, always remember that.
The worst part is that's probably just the tip of the iceberg, I can imagine.
That is the tip of the iceberg from some of the stuff I've heard and some of the stuff I've seen.
God bless.
Yeah, we're not going to get into some of that.
We probably can't.
Well,
Yeah.
Some of the rumors we can't.
You could probably get into based gamer Himmler before we can get into that.
Some of the rumors.
I'm sorry.
Based
I'm
Himmler.
sorry if we need to cut this out because I'm saying that, but I love that term because they use that in TNO.
Oh, really?
They call the genocidal maniac gamers.
Oh my god. Actually,
they say that they're about to have a gamer moment.
oh my god.
Look. Speer is considered a libtard, and Speer's whole thing is like trying to reform Nazi Germany. He is still a Nazi, and to do so, you have to kill many people to get what he wants to do. But they still call him a pansy libtard.
Do you know what's the best term in the community that I know of? Because
Speartard.
They call people who support Spear or like libs, especially in the early community, they called them Speartards.
They called him Speartards. This dude legitimately has to cleanse the freaking
Well, granted,
German hierarchy. Every time it comes up, like when John and I were playing it, we were killing off Nazis as fast as we could to maintain legitimacy.
Granted, Raj, this was during the development time. So this was before people realized that Spear is a reformist, but he's not a liberal reformist. He wants to reform fascism.
You're not supposed to
have it
to be a different form of fascism.
He's like the Deng Xiaoping of Germany at the time. He wants to reform it so it can thrive, not change it to be democracy. He wants to reform fascism.
He's like, this fascism's not working. We gotta
That is literally what he's doing.
we gotta make
Yeah.
better fascism.
Yeah,
That's literally what he's doing.
That's his mindset. The thing that Raj and I were doing is that Spear is only supported by a lot of people who are genuine liberals
Yes.
who want to change to democracy. So what we did in our TNO run was we allowed the liberals to supersede Spear and literally guide Germany on the path to democratic reform.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yup.
But then you can go down the path where Spear does reform fascism and does become basically a true successor to Hitler, like a proper fascist revisionist.
John, A, you are not supposed to tell everyone that.
Got to Marcus. Man.
No, you gotta make me be right. And B, Yeah, we screwed over Spear. He was like suicidal in that run.
Yeah, you basically
Oh, wow.
you basically
He was
completely
done.
fuck over Spear. He like loses his mind and everything.
He almost killed Schmidt, which I would have been really happy about because I really don't like Schmidt.
Schmidt's cool. Fuck you.
Look, there's one thing I absolutely hate, and it's self-righteousness, and Schmidt had that in spades. I hate
Listen,
that.
man.
I hate it.
He's fighting fascism.
I get it. I get it's necessary, but I can't stand it. The rest of the Gang of Four, great. Love it. Love Earhart, amazing.
Just you can't handle Schmidt.
I can't handle Schmidt. He's just so...
I can respect that because sometimes the ideological people can be nauseating.
He's absolutely... Like, if Spear had just, killed Schmidt and then got taken down, I would have been cool with the rest of the gang taking over and doing whatever they want in Germany. I'm cool with it. I'm happy.
Long story short, I would highly recommend playing Hoi 4 just to get the TNO mod because that shit is literally just a novel.
What is Hoi 4?
Oh, it's a game made by Paradox Interactive. It's a giant World War II map game, basically.
What's it called?
Hearts of Iron 4.
Thank you, John.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Idiot.
I feel like I'm back at work. Everybody's just using acronyms. Oh God.
What is Hoi 4? What is TNO? What
New
is what is that? Wait. Is it
Kaiserreich.
Yeah, Kaiserreich is it, but what's the abbreviation?
KR.
Like
the way you guys were talking about Spear, it just reminded me of the actual like USSR history, where it's like because there were a lot of liberals that were, on the side of the revolution, overthrowing the
For sure, absolutely.
Tsar. So it's like I just like to think about what they
actually
what their reaction was after they overthrew it.
I just thought of
the
something.
USSR was formed, and they just started getting mass arrested. They're
Bro, yeah.
huh?
I just saw
This
something.
didn't quite go as planned.
I just saw something absolutely terrifying because we were talking about imagine being a failed revolutionary.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine siding with a revolution,
Winning,
and you get fucking purged after you win.
yeah.
Like you're the state that you aspired to make is actually completely fucked and just the goddamn same. Nothing that you wanted to make happen happens.
That would be even worse.
That's most likely to happen, actually.
Mhm.
If you
yeah, for
win,
sure.
that's the most likely outcome.
Yeah, like
Of a
you're
revolution?
gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah.
align unless you have a very strong ideological leadership.
And politically elite, and they know what they're doing
Yeah.
leadership.
If
The
you don't
American
have-
Revolution was weird.
Because we had a political elite leading it.
It
Most revolutions don't have that.
And
They're
like a highly
disgruntled.
educated political
it was
elite.
also predominantly led by the land-owning aristocracy, which is
Mhm.
why some of the stuff
which
persisted.
only could happen due to like the distance between America and the rest and the colonizing force, right?
Oh yeah, I mean like the thing about
Maybe not only could happen because of that.
yeah,
but
the thing about America though is that there is still a lot of anachronisms in the original republic that were only could be made because everybody were a bunch of rich land-owning
also a lot of the
landowning farmers.
revolution did end up getting like revised.
yeah, because
our-
the original tenets were something that just could not function if they
Mhm.
wanted to maintain a proper state.
and not to mention the fact that Great Britain was planning on giving us representation in in their legislature.
Look, King
Like
George III wasn't actually that bad a guy.
Oh yeah,
there
so
were actually
He
plans.
was a pretty
there,
good dude.
There were plans
Yeah.
to give us representation in the governing body.
one of the
Great
biggest
Britain.
things actually about King George III that I really felt a lot of sympathy for after I finished reading the book was like throughout all of American history, we just hear him as Mad King George III. That's like the only thing we know about him. We know that he went crazy, and that's true. He did go crazy. Guess what? He wasn't fucking crazy when he was king of when he was still ruling America.
He also
really?
probably
He was
had a
only-
disease.
yeah.
It was due to
Well, he was
disease more
old,
than
dude.
life.
Dude, yeah, bro. Remember when I talked about how long he ruled? It was he was early in his reign when the American Revolution was happening, because he ruled until the Battle of fucking Waterloo, which was like the 1810s, 1805, 1815, something like that. Because if Austerlitz was 1805, then I think Waterloo would be 1815 or something like that,
Mhm.
because that was around the time of Napoleon's
So
reign.
he was old, and it's conjectured that he actually had a brain disease that was doing something. That's why he was.
Yeah.
His real madness was later in his reign. So when he ruled America, he was just a functioning monarch.
Who was actually pretty nice, but a lot of the people that were around him may have not been.
Isn't it wild that Napoleon was around the same century as the Civil War? That just doesn't feel right to me.
There's so much shit, man. When you look into history,
Like
dude.
the dates, just like
Yeah.
for some reason in my brain, Napoleon is like way back in history, and the Civil War is like somewhat recent history.
You want to hear something?
They're in the same. They're not. They're like less than 50 years apart.
No, yeah. Do you want to hear something crazy though? Like think about the time between the American Revolution.
Civil War. Oh, American Revolution, American Civil War, and the American Civil War and World War One.
Mm-hmm.
Only 50 years from World War One to the Civil War.
And think of all the squad changing machine guns, gas weapons.
Like that's actually a big thing they bring up is that a lot of European doctrine was based off of the Franco-Prussian War, which was a very brief war for the most part. But then people were saying that they should have taken better notes from the American Civil War because they're talking about just the sheer amount of carnage and like the amount of attritional violence that was in the American Civil War compared to the Franco-Prussian War, which ties, like if you look at the American Civil War and tie it to World War One, there's a lot more things connecting those two conflicts and like the kind of a few of the stuff that happened.
Apparently, from what John at least tells me, at first when France entered the war, they were still marching in Napoleonic squares at the beginning of their battles.
There was a lot of archaic stuff early in World War One. Like, so it wasn't just France. I want to make that clear.
This is the one example I know of. But imagine, what is a Napoleonic square? Could you?
Napoleonic marching square is like a traditional line of battle. So without going crazy into detail, imagine like your old like the Patriot, like those old movie scenes with the musket lines.
So imagine that walking into a machine gun line. Think of how well that will go.
That was them trying to use their rifles like spears still.
Yeah, actually that is one thing to bring up with this is more accurate and probably more interesting about the French army. Their rifle was designed for volley fire. Like when you look at the Lebel, the way it was a ridiculously heavy and long-barreled rifle, and it was because it was supposed to be so that your barrel wouldn't be in a dangerous position because you're firing it behind the other guy. It's supposed to be rank fire, where it's like like
a spear, like a pike,
volley, like that.
Yeah,
like that was what it was designed for. It was designed and it was still drilled for volley fire, which is like everybody in the line fire at the same time. That's what a volley fire is. Huh. And yeah, like bayonets at that time, totally, they still did bayonet training. Like if you look at trench raids when they go over the top, like the crazy advances they do towards other trenches, they were taught to still the French infantry and our officer were taught to focus on the offensive. The idea of trench warfare was very hard to drill into the French military because the entire officer corps and general staff constantly focus on the doctrine of offensive. Constant maneuver, constant movement, keep the infantry moving, that type of stuff. So like trench warfare was like, what the fuck? What? We're gonna dig in? What? Like none of the officers were trained for that. Yeah.
Well, artillery is scary.
Machine guns
are
also
barbed wire, very scary. And gas is very scary.
Well, like just imagine crossing a giant flat field that has a shit ton of barbed wire, and then on the other side is a bunch of guys in cover with bolt-action rifles, sighted mortars, artillery guns, and machine guns.
And the bodies you have to traverse to get.
Yeah, because you're the fifth gang to go across the top and go across that same field.
Rip you.
Yeah, like you can't even if you get to the trench, if the barbed wire is not cut, like if your shells, they specialized artillery shells to cut barbed wire because there would be so much barbed wire, like an endless fucking field of barbed wire. So even if you get there, now you're stuck, and then all of a sudden they're shooting you with machine guns everywhere.
And you're stuck in the barbed wire getting cut up.
Yeah, because you gotta get your engineers to cut it. But how the fuck do you do that when you're being shot at by like hundreds of not hundreds, but like a shit ton of machine guns that all have you sighted? And they're in cover, so they're just hosing you down, constant fire.
I think the reason I put Napoleon like so back in history in my brain, like why I think he's so like ancient, is because he's always listed alongside like people are like, oh yeah, Napoleon, Julius Caesar,
it's always Caesar.
Alexander the Great. I'm like, he's listed among people that are like way back there.
Yeah, like I totally understand that. There's
Hannibal. I almost forgot.
Hannibal's forgettable.
No, sorry. Scipio Africanus, then Hannibal.
No. Hannibal is forgettable. We can forget about him.
Whoa.
Based.
Whoa. Listen. If you can pull a Cannae, then you can forget about Hannibal. Until then, fuck you. Cannae was awesome.
You need to be able to demolish 20% of an entire nation. Male population.
Give me the entire United States Army and a very third world country, and I could do it.
An island nation, literally 5 guys.
No, you need to be you need to be outnumbered too.
Okay, give me a third world nation with not any technology, but a lot of people, and give me
Shit.
400 men with attack helicopters.
Find me a disconnected tribe in Brazil, and I'll give you a dub.
I'll give you that dumb man.
God damn it.
I can argue my way out of
Okay,
this.
how about this? Same tier of equipment, and extensive military training, dominant on the opposing side.
How many tries do I get to do this?
One.
You get one try, and you also recently lost your eye.
Yeah, by running through a swamp. And you just marched your army
Up a mountain.
up a mountain.
Yeah.
And then ran across all of Italy.
Like, the core of his army at that point at Cannae were not his men in Spain. They were boys that he picked up because he's been kicking so much ass that the Gallic tribes and some Italian forces decided to join up with him to beat up Romans. So, like, his professional core were like the Libyans.
He actually put his weaker people in front so then they would get pushed in and die.
He funneled the Romans into basically a gigantic cauldron. Remember, they significantly outnumbered Hannibal. He shoved them into a cauldron and then completely surrounded them and butchered them.
Yep. So he put his veteran units on the flanks, his weak units in the middle. His weak units got pushed in, so then his veteran units came around. And then he had cavalry, Numidian cavalry. They came around, and then they flanked him and completely engulfed the Romans.
Like, Hannibal was an absolute animal. Like,
when your flank starts speaking in Carthaginian, and then your rear starts speaking Numidian.
we're like, wait a minute, where's the cavalry? Oh, they're coming back. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
So we're about at time? Are we?
I think we are.
Yeah, I think we're at about
time.
Then
I have one final question. This is the most important question I've asked the entire podcast. Probably am going to. Am I going to heaven? Back to our fun religious debate. Am I going to heaven?
Only if you drop all other religions and pick up the one true one, worship Elgabal, Sol Invictus himself. All right.
John, am I going to heaven?
I don't know. Do you worship Ra?
Does Ra have a heaven?
I actually don't know anything about Egyptian faith, so I have no fucking idea.
Look,
I also don't know if Sol Invictus has a heaven, to be honest.
Look, I brought up religion to find out if I could go to heaven.
Raj.
All I know is that it means goddamn Sun Unconquered, which
is a fucking awesome name. Raj, we already know from Calvinism. It's already been determined the moment you were born. Are you going to heaven? I have no fucking idea. I don't know if I'm going to heaven.
But having this one drink isn't going to do me one way or another.
That's God's plan, man.
I mean, we live in
Thanks,
America, home of the Puritans, so yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah, home of the
Screw
Puritans,
you,
we're
God.
all fucked, man.
Yeah.
Oh, we're done.
You were fucked since the day you were born.
I have a fun fact about Puritans.
Well, my dad married an Indian woman.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, I was born dead.
Yeah.
I was born
you
done.
married a child of Satan, probably according to many Christians at that time period.
Rip me.
But, like, one fun fact about the Puritans, an explorer, a merchantman, after, like, 5 years at sea, when he came back to Boston, he was put in the stocks. Do you know what stocks are?
Yeah.
No.
The stocks are the wooden things where you, like, put your hands out. Like,
Why?
it's supposed to be a sense of humiliation. Like, you just hanging out in the marketplace, you did something bad, put you in the stocks, right?
Okay.
He was put in the stocks for kissing his wife publicly.
How long was he put in this stock for?
I don't know. But, but yeah, that was the one thing about Puritans. If you are a non-practicing Puritan and you go to Boston during certain time periods, like Massachusetts and Puritan country, you could be branded, like literally seared and branded to be labeled as a heretic. And if you come back again, they will fucking kill you.
So what would they have done to me, John?
Well, considering the fact you're not white, you're already a child of Satan, probably.
Because my dad is white.
They probably think you're Indian.
Don't
You're a mixed
matter.
race.
I'm mixed.
He's a
Yeah,
traitor.
I'm even worse.
Your dad's a traitor.
Yep,
It's
yep.
done. He's getting
It's even
burned.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
He mixed race with the children of Satan.
So I'm going to heaven, right?
Well,
That's
up
where
to
we're
God.
ending. I'm going to heaven.
It's Calvin.
I made it.
Yeah, it's up to you. It's up to him.
You're good.
I
Maybe.
did it.
Yeah, you're gonna make it.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this absolute
Based, gamer,
dumpster fire of a
Himmler.
podcast today.
It was great. I don't know what you're talking about. Anime hero protagonist,
Big
Daddy Chungus.
Keanu Reeves, Reinhard Heydrich.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.